Hi everybody, I'm Flavia Damonte from flaviliciousfitness.com, bringing you your Wednesday workout. So in light of recent events, me being pregnant, I had to change the way that I work out. So I wanted to show you exactly what I am doing to have an all-belly pregnancy, or at least try to have an all-belly pregnancy. I am currently in my second trimester. I'm 19 weeks, and I want to take you through the series. The way that we're going to do it is we're going to do it in trimesters. So we're going to do first trimester workouts 1 month, the second month we're going to do second trimester workouts, and then the following month we're going to do third trimester workouts, because you have to change the way that you work out with each trimester. So we're going to start with trimester 1, and there's definitely some rules that you have to follow. One is consult your physician before starting any workout. Should be like that no matter if you're pregnant or not, but certainly if you're pregnant. A lot of people can't work out if they're pregnant, so make sure that you get the okay to go ahead with your physician before you start any sort of workouts when you're pregnant. I'm going to take you through what I do. Every single pregnancy is different, so make sure that you do consult a physician before starting. So one of the things that my doctor told me that I need to be careful that I do and do not do, one thing was to keep my heart rate between 150 and 160. A lot of doctors recommend keeping your heart rate below 140. So because I was already active and I worked out a lot, she said that I could, go up to 160. So I wear a heart rate monitor. I check my heart rate to make sure that I don't go above that. And if I do start to creep up to the 160s, then I just scale back what I'm doing. Another thing, make sure that you don't sweat a lot. You are going to get very dehydrated, so you want to make sure that you are drinking a lot during your workout and that you're not working to sweat. So we're not going to be increasing our intensity. I dropped all high intensity workouts, all intensity interval training out of my regime, and for cardio I just stayed on an elliptical or a treadmill, go for walks. I ended up dropping out of runs as well, just because I wasn't an avid runner. I know that a lot of runners can still run through the pregnancy, but for me, because of the winter, I don't run in the winter. My lungs kill when I get out there. I obviously don't breathe properly, so I hadn't been running for a couple of months, so I didn't want to start doing that during my pregnancy. Another thing is to make sure that you don't lift heavier than 30 to 40 pounds. That was my instructions. Yours definitely could be a lot different. But if it doesn't feel right, stop doing it. That was one huge thing. And there was a lot of times during my first trimester that I would do something and it just wouldn't feel right. And I would stop and I would not do that exercise again. And I kept forgetting that I was pregnant. I remember one time going to the gym and there was like a low bar to do chin-ups at. And I jumped up and I started just doing pull-ups, and all of a sudden I had like the wickedest pain in my abdomen. I'm thinking, what am I doing? I'm pregnant. Like you just forget sometimes when you're in your second trimester and you're feeling awesome, you forget. So if it doesn't feel good, stop doing it immediately. During my first trimester, I was very sick. I was very nauseous. So whenever I did weight training, I got pretty nauseous. So I only lifted weights like maybe twice a week. I'm going to show you 3 different workouts during this series for the first trimester, and I do include weights during all 3 of the workouts. If you are feeling like I was, you feel like you're going to throw up as soon as you lift a weight, then certainly just do cardio. And cardio for me was super easy. I didn't have any troubles. I was sweating just a very, very little, but I would rehydrate, and I was doing about 20 to 30 minutes, and I never felt nauseous doing that at all. So now is not the time to start anything new. If you weren't working out before, if you weren't lifting weights, it's not the time to start. So go ahead and just go for some walks, and you'll be perfectly comfortable and perfectly fine doing that. And definitely hit up flaviliciousfitness.com after you deliver for some great resistance training workouts after you deliver. So the final notes here, make sure that you're doing stable movements. This isn't the time to do balancing acts because your blood pressure is probably pretty low if you're pregnant. and you're gonna get dizzy, so we don't wanna be like hopping on one foot or doing any sort of like crazy jumps or anything like that. We don't wanna do multi-joint movements. So we're gonna keep everything pretty stable. I like doing machines when I'm pregnant just because you have that extra support. I do most things seated, and I take a ton of rest periods. So we're gonna take a lot of rest periods today. I'm gonna keep them going through circuits just because that's the way that I normally train. So we're gonna be doing 2 or 3 different circuits, but we're gonna be taking a lot of rest in between each exercise. And that way I remember what I'm doing. If I jump from exercise to exercise, I always end up like forgetting some exercise. So if I break them down into circuits, I end up remembering my entire workout, because you will probably get forgetful as well if you're pregnant. That baby brain thing, it's not a myth. It's actually for real, and you get super, super clumsy. But that's besides the point. Another thing, I really want to know how many women out there who are pregnant experience the same thing that I experienced in my first trimester. I was so nauseous, but I ate like crazy. And most people that I talk to, they're like, oh, I couldn't eat, like I lost all this weight when I was in my first trimester. I gained 10 pounds, like 10 pounds. And my goal when I got pregnant was that I was only gonna put on 25 pounds my entire pregnancy. And I put on almost half of that in my first trimester. So I couldn't stop eating. Like I was eating as much as Vince. I would wake up sometimes 2 times in the middle of the night and stuff my face, because if I didn't, like I just had this intense feeling, and if I didn't put food in my body, I would throw up, and it would just be like the worst feeling ever. So I'm curious to know, because I haven't read that in any single book that I have seen. I just say to make myself feel better that it was because I was low body fat and my body wanted to add on weight. So we're just gonna go for that. But as soon as 10 weeks hit, everything kind of starting to get back to normal, and I'm back on my normal Flavolicious fitness diet. I increased my calories by 300. First trimester, I'm over it. It's okay. I gained 10 pounds, whatever. And I'm just going to eat healthy and continue to exercise during the next 2 trimesters so that I can keep off the weight and have a healthy baby and delivery. So without further ado, let's get started on trimester 1, video 1. We're going to do legs today. I store a lot of my fat on my legs, so that's what we're going to be hitting a lot during these pregnancy workouts. And we're going to start with the squat. Okay, so for the first exercise, it's not actually going to be in a combo, only because we're going to be doing squats and they're pretty taxing. During my first trimester, I did continue to do barbell squats. Squats are amazing for you when you're pregnant because this is the actual position, if you will, that you're going to be in during delivery. So there's been studies to show that doing squats while you're pregnant actually helps ease delivery. So all for that. Let's do the squats. So because I'm in my second trimester, I don't want to do a heavy barbell as the squat, as a barbell squat. So I'm just going to be taking some 12.5s and just doing some dumbbell squats, which works if you're at home as well. And remember, these are first trimester. So if I was in my second or third, like late second when I was too heavy and all my balance was off because of my stomach, then I certainly would just be keeping the dumbbells here, or I would just drop them all together. And because you might get forgetful, I've kept everything at 10 reps. So during my first trimester, I just tried really hard to get 10 reps. And if I didn't make it to 10 reps, I would cut it at 8. If I was getting too tired, I would cut it. So this isn't the time to like really push yourself. I want you guys to be really in tune with your body. Make sure that you're protecting yourself and the baby. So don't get too overworked if you're getting really tired. During my first trimester, I was like, I was used to doing all these crazy, funky movements, going crazy, and then I'd get so tired just walking down the stairs. So I was like, it was interesting. You have to get used to it, but ultimately it's not your body that you have to be worried about, it's the health of your baby. And that is one of the reasons that we're working out, is because you're gonna have a healthy pregnancy, healthier delivery, a quicker delivery. And it's shown that women who exercise while they're pregnant have lower risk of gestational diabetes. So awesome reasons. So let's do that again for 2 more sets for a total of 3 sets of 10. And we'll move on from there. Okay, so we're moving on to our first circuit. We're taking lots of rest periods, as much as we need. I would take about 60 seconds. 40 to 60 seconds is what I found was good for me. If you need a little bit longer, for sure, do that. For first trimester, we're basically keeping the normal exercises that we do every day, but we're just scaling it back. So we're just gonna take longer rest periods, we're gonna drop the weights, and we're just not gonna do any high intensity work. That's basically the only thing. And if your balance is off, you just don't wanna be doing any sort of one-legged things, or definitely no hops or jumps and things like that. So, okay, so we're gonna do a step up. Definitely a lower step than maybe we're used to doing. We're gonna just be trying to work our quads here, some glutes, but as soon as we get too high, it's gonna throw off our balance a little bit, so we're just gonna take a lower step approach. And because we're in our first trimester, we're gonna be keeping our weights in. Gazing forward the whole time. If you get dizzy, stop, take some water. And of course, please make sure that you're eating before these workouts. And we're gonna do 10 a leg. If you need to break in between those, excuse me, for sure do that. I was more winded in my first trimester than I am on my second, so definitely take more breaks if need be. So you want to make sure that you're not bending forward when you're pushing up. You want to make sure that you're activating the quads. And if you're going forward, then you're just using the backs of your legs. You're really using your quads. So keep your chest up, and you want to just stand right up through your quads and through your heels. Okay, we're gonna go on to our next exercise, which is a lunge. I'm gonna take a full minute now, and then we'll start the lunges. Starting our lunges, we're gonna be doing 10 on each side. And now because structurally your body is changing, everything's kind of opening up to make room for the baby in there, you don't wanna go too low on your lunges. You don't wanna open up your SI joint, so you wanna be very, very careful with that. So you just wanna step forward and just not go all the way down like you're used to, halfway down and then pop back up. You're still getting a great workout on your legs. Make sure that you're breathing throughout the entire exercise and that you're pushing up through your entire foot, emphasizing thinking about pushing up through your heels. So you're gonna come down to about until you're about 90 degrees. If you need to take a break after those, feel free. And notice that I'm going really, really nice and slow. My tempo is slow, it's controlled. I'm not trying to do anything fast. I'm not looking to burn a lot of calories, just looking to stay in good cardiovascular shape. And that's it. Let's move on to our next exercise. Okay, so our third exercise of this circuit is some leg raises. I do this like all the time. If I'm just like standing around, I'll just start to do some leg raises just because I've gained weight in my thighs. It's the first place that weight goes on me. So if I'm just like kind of standing there cooking, I'll be like doo doo doo, just popping up my leg to the side. So we're going to be doing 10 leg raises aside. Because this is body weight, you can certainly add some. Sometimes, you know, you have more energy than other days, so you can go ahead and do like 20 or 25 if you want. Make sure that if you're feeling wobbly, you grab a stick or something so that you're holding onto it while you're doing these. So we're just going to be lifting out to the side. Short movements. We're not coming all the way down. We're just popping out short range of movement here. And then switch legs. And for sure, grab a broomstick or something just to hold you, or you can just, you know, anything structurally sound beside you can hold on and do those as well. Okay, so we're gonna repeat those 10 to 20 aside. We're gonna repeat them for a total of 3 sets, but we're gonna be working through the circuit. So we're gonna go back to doing our squats for another set, doing our lunges for another set, then our leg raises, and then we're gonna go through that circuit again for the third set, and now we're gonna move on to our second circuit. Okay, so I've gulped down a ton of water and I'm ready to start my second circuit. We're gonna be doing 3 more exercises. We're gonna be doing a hamstring curl on like a laying or a seated, so on a machine, and then we're gonna go down to the floor, do a lying leg curl, and then we're gonna be doing some bridges. So we're gonna be doing all 3 of those, resting in between each exercise, but then we're gonna repeat that same circuit for a total of 3 sets. And then we'll move on to our third circuit. So because your stomach in your first trimester isn't very big, you can certainly lay down on your stomach and do some lying leg curls. If you have a seated one, certainly go ahead and throw that in instead. But I'll show you how this works. So we want to point, like plantar flex our toes as we curl up so that we take out our calf muscles here. We want to curl the way all the way up to our butts. And I think I dropped this weight about 20 pounds. And we're just doing 10 reps. I'm gonna rest before moving on to the lying leg curls. If I need to, if you don't feel like you need to, some women aren't sick, so they probably have a lot easier time doing workouts. So certainly if you don't need the rest period, you don't have to take it, but don't feel bad taking it. I remember just talking was exhausting. Okay, so we're just gonna be doing stability ball curls. So we wanna bring our hips up as much as possible, and we're just gonna be curling the ball into our glutes here.
Do that for a total of 10 sets. And then kick the ball away. Usually you don't need too much rest in between that one. Now we're just gonna be doing some glute bridges. So all the way up, I'm gonna squeeze and hold for 4 seconds. Lower, and then pop back up and hold. 2, 3, 4. Lower, explosive movement up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I pop up, I'm squeezing my glutes as hard as I possibly can. We want to keep free from cellulite while we're in our bikinis this summer. And we just want a nice baby bump without the added fat around our legs.
So we're gonna rest now. I'm gonna drink some water, and then I'm gonna start that second circuit. Starting over again, we're gonna be doing set number 2, and then resting again, and then we're gonna be doing set number 3 for a total of 3 sets. And then we're gonna move on to our third circuit, which is on the calves. Okay, so third and final circuit, we're just gonna be doing 2 exercises, so it's kind of like a superset. But I found that working out my calves, I really had to drop the weight drastically. But we wanna make sure that we're keeping our calves included in our workouts throughout the entire pregnancy, because there's a lot of weight that's gonna be added to your legs. And a lot of women have cramping, and I think one of the biggest complaints of the third trimester, other than the back, is your calves. They have a lot of calf pain. So we're gonna be keeping calves into our workouts to make sure that we get to keep them nice and strong so that they can support the weight of our growing belly. So this is just a seated calf raise, excuse me. Same technique as before, except for, because I'm just doing the weights, I like to just hold the weight up at the top for 5 seconds. Bring it back down and then pop it back up. Another explosive movement. We're working our soleus here. So our soleus muscle is the muscle that we are mainly working on a seated calf raise. It's made up of slow twitch muscle fibers, and they work, they're stimulated when you're doing lighter weights and more reps. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pop them up for at least 10. I said that I was gonna keep 10 static during this entire workout, but certainly if you're not feeling a burn by 10, go ahead and add them until you're feeling the burn. And you want burning for about, 2 to 3 sets. Okay. And then we're gonna move on to the floor, remembering that we want to burn some calories on our legs, and we're just gonna be doing some fire hydrants. Now I wasn't feeling a burn, so I went right up to 15. Okay, so I'm gonna rest, I'm gonna grab some water, and then I'm gonna repeat that circuit for a total of 3 sets. And then we're gonna finish our workout. Definitely, if you feel up to it, throw in some cardio. What I did during the first trimester is I would do cardio every other day. So I would do like weights, and then the next day I would do 30 minutes of cardio, and then I would do weights, and then 30 minutes of cardio. So that's it. I don't think that there's anything else I need to tell you. If there is anything, I'll think about it for the next workout. So that, again, was the first trimester workouts. Consult your physician before starting anything. You should never start anything new when you're pregnant. And go ahead and let me know how those workouts were. If you are in your second or third trimester, go ahead and look for those workouts. If you don't find them, then they're just not available yet, but they certainly will be. And for any other sort of training or nutrition tips, go to flydeliciousfitness.com. I can help you out there, and I'll see you guys soon.